Good evening. I'll call this meeting for the CIC March 2nd, 2026 to order. Can we get the roll call, please?
Yes, we can. All right, Kanima, Linda.
Here.
Hello. Rita?
Is gone. She was out of town. She should be excused.
Yes, she is an excused absence for this evening.
Very good. Caulfield? Yes, I'm here. John?
Here.
Good evening. Dorothy? She is online. Well, she was online.
Dorothy's going to be an excused absence, and so is Joy this evening.
Okay. Betty, hello.
Hello, I'm here.
And Dwayne, hello. Good evening. Chris?
I'm here.
Yes, you are. And Mark, hello. And Hillendale, Sarah, you are online. I saw you. Hi.
Yes, I'm not here.
Wonderful. Josh, are you here?
I think I'm here.
Okay, good. Amy? Here. Good evening. Good evening. Tim? Here. Hello. And Ryan, I think I see you. Good evening. Rivercrest is inactive, and Tower Vista, no. Bill, I think there you
Bill's
are.
here.
Hello. And Kathy? Here. Good evening. And Hannah?
I am present.
And Commissioner Wilson?
I am also here.
Wonderful. Okay.
Awesome.
That concludes the roll.
Thank you, Donna. Appreciate that. So our first presentation this evening is from Portland General Electric. We have Heidi Bell and Alex Cousins with us.
Thank you. This is Alex Cousins, and appreciate you having us on your agenda tonight for me and Heidi to come and brief you on some things that we want to share and some work going on in your community. It's been, I think it was in March of last year that I came with Brooke Brownlee to talk to you. And that was right after I first started working at PGE. And so I've been with the company for a little over a year now, and I'm the community engagement manager. And I focus on our capital infrastructure projects where we want to get community voices involved in the planning around the work. And I've been doing this type of work for most of my career in Portland, so it's been a good long while. But nice to be back. And Heidi, I'll turn it over to you to introduce.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. It was wonderful to be contacted by Josh and to have this opportunity to come before all of you. And it's really nice to have such a good group of people, so many people involved in their community. I've been with PG just since June 30th. Before that, I was a city manager in small rural cities in Oregon. So I love to see all the community involvement. All right, I think, Alex, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, and I want to apologize up front if my voice cracks while we're talking. It's because I'm getting over some kind of a cold congestion situation, and I feel fine, but it doesn't sound like it's totally left me. So apologies if I'm don't sound totally pleasant here tonight. But yeah, and I do want to say up front that we do have about a dozen slides or so to run through with you, and we expect you may have questions. We will do our best, Heidi and I will do our best to answer them. If in the event that we're not sure of the answer, we don't want to mislead, so we're going to take copious notes as we're talking to you, and we'll be sure to touch base with a subject matter expert back here at PGE if in the event we can't fully answer a question, and then we'll make sure we get the responses to Hannah and Josh in time for your next meeting. But this slide is just a little kind of overview of PGE and our service territory. We serve almost 2 million Oregonians across the 7-county area, including, of course, Clackamas County and Oregon City. We have 51 cities in our service territory. It's about 4,000 square miles and almost 1 million customer accounts within that area. So many of you may know that our history in Oregon City goes back quite a ways with the Willamette Falls hydro project, and the very first long distance electrical transmission line in the country was from Oregon City up into Portland. So we're very proud of our history and heritage in the community. Heidi, you can go to the next slide. And this is you.
Yeah, this is me. So I am the local government affairs manager for Clackamas County, which means I get to help out in Oregon City. So I'm very connected with your city manager. Just met with your mayor and your assistant city manager, Alex, on Friday afternoon. And one of the topics we discussed was the Oregon City Operations Building. You've probably seen that coming soon sign for a while out there and wonder what's happening. We actually have been working slowly but surely on this project. And we have land use hearing with the Oregon City Planning Commission on April 13th, 2026. So that's coming right around here. And once that those land use permits hopefully get approved, then we will be on our way to starting with our construction for the process. Our ribbon cutting is estimated for early 2029. So we are very appreciative of the staff at Oregon City. They've been helping us to understand more about the community's needs and helping us with the permitting to give us feedback along the way. Okay. And then next here, we want to make sure that you know about the opportunities that PGE has for payment help, and affordability is important to us as it is to, well, all of us that pay a PGE bill too, and all of the programs, that we have. One of them includes an income qualification. I'm trying to manage all these screens and I'm not great at it. Here we go. One of them is the income discount program that we have. And if you ever have any sort of hardship that pops up, or you are a person who receives any sort of benefits at all, it is in your best interest to absolutely call. Some of the discounts can go as deep as 80% to 15% off of your monthly bill. There's not any sort of paperwork required, but they will ask you a couple of verification questions. Quite simple, easy to do. So please write down this phone number and know that they're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Our customer center is. Call line is. And they are very good at helping people. We can also help people by setting up payment plans as well. And we work also very closely with Alex, I'm spacing the name of it, the Oregon
Energy Trust?
Yes, with Energy Trust, thank
Energy
you.
Trust.
And we work very closely with Energy Trust as well. And we can also help pair you up with some of their services as well. So if you're interested in any sort of thing that you see on this screen, definitely call that customer service number. It's one of the things that I want this group to take away from this meeting, is to share this in your neighborhood. Okay, Alex.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about wildfire, because I know that's top of mind for a lot of people. We are having, as we all know, a pretty warmer and drier winter than we're used to getting, and that's got those of us at PGE that are focused on our wildfire prevention efforts kind of concerned about what this coming summer may look like. So fingers crossed that we still get a decent amount of rainfall during the wet season, and snowpack looks good, and we can look forward to higher water levels. But right now it's not looking so great. So wildfire is always something that we pay attention to at PGE, and our wildfire mitigation efforts run across a variety of different areas. And so system hardening is certainly something we do. We have projects where we try to, we can't underground everywhere, underground distribution everywhere, but where we can, we try to, and certainly where we have high fire risk zone areas, we try to focus on undergrounding in those areas just to get the lines under the ground and obviously safer from a wildfire standpoint. But we're also converting wooden poles to ductile iron poles that don't burn, and then have enhanced power line safety settings. So when a branch falls on a line, there are sensors that alert us to that fact. And then what's really cool are what's in the picture here is these are remote sensing cameras we have deployed throughout our service territory in areas where there's a lot of tree cover and where we want to be alert for the potential for wildfire. We have almost 40 of these cameras that are mounted on weather stations and communication towers and that type of thing. Quite a few of them are in Clackamas County, and they can see from pretty far away, and they use AI to detect wildfire smoke, and these cameras can they know the difference between wildfire smoke trickling up and, say, fog or mist and that kind of thing. So they're very smart, and they've been able to. These cameras are shared with all of our emergency service partners, so that they have access to all of the same technology as well. And then we've recently, just last year, we put the cameras on the viewpoints on our website, so you can actually go on PGE's website and see what the cameras are seeing. If you have anybody out there who is into just kind of looking at the landscape, it's pretty fascinating. But we've been able to use this technology to alert. In one instance, a fire up near Mount Hood in the Hood Forest. We were able to detect it 4 hours before it was actually reported by anyone in the public who saw it happening. So that's super valuable early warning that our emergency service partners can get because we have these cameras. So we're looking to add more to our network. And then, of course, we do vegetation management where we're inspecting our equipment. And then if there's trees that need to be trimmed back or removed entirely, if they're hazardous, that's year-round work we do to try to keep the distribution lines free from potential of having anything fall on them. So something we stay very attentive to all year round. And that's all I've got for that one, Heidi. Okay, and this is just a good little reminder about how you can prepare for outages. It could be a public safety power shutoff where we're having to proactively shut the power off because of extreme weather event. It could just be there's an equipment failure. Any number of reasons why your power might go out. Sometimes it's very short. Sometimes it's longer than we'd like. But one thing that you can do that's very simple to do is just go to our website, portlandgeneral.com. Or visit the PGE app. If you have that, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But just make sure we have your contact information on file with your customer account information. If we have your cell phone and then there's an outage, you'll get a text alert because we have that in our system. So that's something very easy that you can do to just stay in the know. We also encourage people to create an outage kit. So if you need things that you need to plan for, if you need to suddenly evacuate your home for whatever reason, or if you need to stay in place. Those kinds of things that you need to know what you need to have available. If you have to take, if you take medication, you need to have extra for that. If you need to take care of pets or elderly family members, those kinds of situations, you need to, be prepared for that, and then have a plan for what you might do to keep you and your family safe. And we wanted to put in a little plug for the CLACCO public alerts, and Heidi made me aware of that. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to the CLACCO public alerts, Heidi.
Just to make sure that you have signed up for it. I know lots of people in Clackamas County have, and that the county emergency and disaster team continues to push forward on that, and that it's run through an Everbridge database or software, and so it's very accurate. And I think Clackamas County has just done a fantastic job at helping people to be prepared throughout the county. They've done a great job. Alex, we should also mention, I think, that PGE does want to know if you have a medical device that is dependent upon electricity. So we ask that you work with us so that we know that, so that we can help you, especially if there's like a PSPS, which is the planned power outages around wildfire. So that's really important, like the CPAPs and stuff. Did I say that right? So it's CPAP?
It sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. The breathing things for sleeping. All right. So the next slide here. Oh, this is back to me. Okay, so we're gonna go on a little field trip here I'm gonna sign out of this. Okay, I want this group to know what it looks like one of the things Josh and I talked about that I've been learning so much about since I just came to PGE, and I think is really important, is about our outages. So this is the homepage for PGE, and then you go up to outages and safety, and you go right to our outage map. So I want this group to be very familiar. I see you as a bunch of leaders in your neighborhoods. And so I think it's important for us to kind of just take some time to train our leaders. So if you have an outage, even though, I wrote this down, even though we have a detect system for an outage at PGE, and we are supposed to know, our customer service team and our outage team still likes people to take the time to report the outage. You can either do it by, once again, calling that customer service number, or using our app, or coming on here. And so we click See Outage Map, and you'll have to excuse me. I just love maps. I don't know. I meet other people that also love maps, so I know I'm not alone out there. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? You've been a very quiet group. While we wait to get this pulled up. No? Okay. Well, we're looking now in PGE. We can make this a little bit bigger to see our service territory. And I'm going to go a little slower because I know that the screens, have to communicate, and so it's a little delayed. So right now, we only have 3 outages. I was counting on there at least being a couple outages for this presentation. So if you look here, let's just look at this too. Well, actually, we would sign in. You can sign in or register, and this goes back to Alex. What Alex is talking about is it's very important. The other thing you should walk away from this is to know how important it is to keep your information accurate with PGE, especially for outages and emergencies. And because you will get the best information and the most accurate information by keeping your information updated. So if we look here, we have a couple of outages going on, and the outage was reported. Let's drill down. See, it's so fun. You can just keep drilling down here. And the estimated restoration is tonight at 10:15. Restorations, and so you can click on this and you can get information about the status. You can look at what time the outage was identified right down here. And then you can get more information by looking in this gray box. This gray box, I'm going to tell you, is very important. I think people skip over it, and you really should be looking at it because it's the part that gives you the details to make you feel like you have more information about what to expect. Okay, I'm going to go back. And during big storms, if you can get onto this, it's also pretty interesting just to click and see what's happening. Then you see these, which right here is a planned outage. I live over in Sheridan, and the other day we had several planned outages. And so hopefully you're receiving that communication early as well. And the way to do that is by making sure, once again, that your information is updated. But you can also, if you want, you can really drill down into this. You can see the counties and the outages. You can look at the zip codes. This can also help you for traveling too, I imagine, in some ways. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to show you. And I think the other message I'd like to give you for this is to get in here and really play around with it. Because if you're in a situation where you're kind of stressed, like, will school start on time? Or, am I going to be able to take a shower before work? All this kind of stuff. The last thing you want to do is trying to be figuring this stuff out. So, make sure that you are kind of playing around with all the different features and understand it, and then you'll be like the king or the queen of your neighborhood because you know how to use it. And everybody, I guess you should be careful. I have 2 younger sisters, and they always ask me to teach them how to do stuff, and then they stop asking and just make me tell them. All right, so that is about the outages and safety, and I'm going to try to figure out how to get back in here.
Hi, we've got a question on that, it looks like, from Chris.
Hi, thank you
Great.
very much. This looks really great. I like the website, and yes, I'm excited about maps. But the idea is that how do you get to use your computer during an outage or Wi-Fi during an outage? And I can bring it up on my phone, but that in no way shows the verbosity of what your website and the pages here hold. I mean, it would take obviously a long time, but the idea, that's the only thing. I'm just wondering how, unless I had a storage backup, power backup, or something, but I don't know. What do you propose?
So the app actually is way more detailed and has tons of these features, and it is mind-blowing and surprising. And so that's like my next couple of slides, is to really encourage you, if you have a smartphone, to download the app, because you will be better prepared during the outages.
Thank you.
It is very surprising how much information. Yes, and I'm so glad you brought that up. And yes, the other alternative, of course, is to have an alternative power source, like a generator for your home. Some people also will look at the map, on their app, and then travel to a community library that still has power. So those libraries, they still serve such a good purpose in communities and help people cross our territories. So that's another option.
Heidi, we've got
Say.
one more question, I think, on the topic from Tim.
Great.
Sorry, I do have a question regarding the medical device requiring electricity. We have quite a few seniors, and we've got some responsibility, not we, the neighborhood, but myself and my wife, but we watch out for a lot of these folks. And a lot of them do require electricity for dialysis and things like that. And they've basically been told by PGE that they should have some sort of a backup device. You just mentioned that we should notify you. What can they expect from PGE if they can't afford additional devices? How would that work?
I think that the goal, you're right about all of that. And the goal of PGE is to give as early notification to people that are on medical devices in those situations, so that they can make those, the choices. It's a hard choice sometimes, but you have to go stay with a family member, or get a hotel. But just to give people early notification. Alex, did I miss anything with that?
Yeah, we have a medical battery program where customers
Okay,
have been
good.
provided
Ooh, that's really good.
batteries. But I need to get more details about that program so we can give you the information that would be most helpful in response to this question. So I'm going to make a note. That's one of the things we'll get back to you on.
Great, thank you.
With more details.
I hope you can see this too. This is the medical certificate team is available, and here's their phone number. So I would say write that down. And then also, I don't know if you noticed, just on the homepage, I just went in and I typed medical device in the search bar. PGE's website has an incredible amount of information, like all about all of the different projects that we're doing. If you're interested in that, just type into that search area and you'll be able to find tons of information. But this, Alex, I'm so happy to hear about that with the medical battery. That's a very good thing. Okay, any other questions?
Not at the moment. Keep on going.
Okay, keep on going. All right, we will figure out where we are. Thank you so much for your patience as I figure this out. Okay. I'm only a little bit computer savvy, maybe. I don't know, PowerPoint stuff. Okay, I think this is where we left off. So I used to be I'm an old city manager from a while ago. And one of my favorite things to do in our small towns would be to work with our neighborhood associations and our neighborhood groups, especially in the fall, around back to school time. And I would ask people in the community if they see a flickering light, if they see a street light, I'm talking about street lights. So a flickering street light, a street light that has turned purple, which is a weird one, or it just isn't as bright, or it needs to be switched over to LED, to go on to PGE's website and to report it. And it's pretty quick. The turnaround is pretty quick at how they come. But I have worked in a community that had so many streetlights that they ended up calling and saying, what the heck is happening? over there and we said, we're turning the lights back on. But this is one of the top, when you work with police, you find out that this is one of the best ways to deter crime is through lights. So I want to empower all of you to know how to do this in your neighborhoods. So it is a PGE pole if it has one of these medallions. I call them medallions. I think they're called like middle tags. So what I like to do is I like to take my phone and take a picture of the tag, make sure that I can like read it pretty well in the photo quality. And then I take a picture of the street address, or you can even edit in your phone. If you have a smartphone that works like this, you can hold down the picture and then there's like a caption area and I will write down the address in there. So I just like to go on a night, an evening walk, maybe not night, but an evening walk, and I just write down the poll number and the address. And then I go back to my computer, or I think you can do it even on the app. I'll have to look. Alex, let's write that down, see if we can report these on the app. But I go back to the computer and then I enter the information. The other thing that's neat about this is I really encourage people to involve kids in this process. I think it's important for kids to see themselves as part of a neighborhood, to understand safety, and to see the cause and the effect. Like something is, what they're doing is helping. So I like kids to know about this. And anyway, that's what I have about street. Is there any questions about street lights? No? Okay.
No, there's lots of them that
All
stay
right.
on in Oregon City though, and don't turn
That's
off.
very good. That's very good. That must mean you're a community that cares and somebody's helping to report those. That's great. Okay, so from the PGE app, you can do a whole bunch of things. You can manage your account balance. You can set up auto pay. You can track your electricity use live, which is pretty interesting. You can report your power outages. You can use an interactive outage map, back to that outage map. You can find PGE programs to help you save you money. Over on the side here, we have like my energy shifting, which is very interesting. You can really get down in the weeds on some of this stuff. Peak time rebates, time of day is another program. Then you also you can get alerts about your energy use and your billing right to your phone. It'll deliver a notification. You can start, stop, or move to your new location. And then this one's pretty cool. I haven't done it yet, and I really want to. It's to complete a home energy analysis. And then supposedly it gives you enter information about your home, and it gives you direct information about ways that you could potentially save. So, sounds like fun. Okay, Alex,
Okay.
you're up next.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to sharing this slide. I think Brooke and I probably touched on this a year ago, but we've certainly come a lot further with our planning for it since we last spoke to you. But PGE is in the process right now of creating community advisory councils for our service area. And these are county-wide sounding boards, basically, is how the committees are going to function. And there will be one specific to Clackamas County, as well as Washington and Multnomah. And then we're creating one to serve Marion, Polk, and Yam Hill to get collectively. But we're just in the process of starting the recruitment for these. We want these to be about 20 to 25 members, a diverse mix of ages and gender and different lived experiences and professional experience and personal interest, hoping for a real good cross-section of people who live in their, care about, issues, civic issues in their community, and would be interested in serving, volunteering on one of these task force. The meetings will probably be like tonight's meeting is, where it's a hybrid meeting. Some of you are in person, some of us are zooming in to the meeting. So we recognize a county-wide committee is going to be hard to get 20 to 25 people together in the same room at the same time. So planning on having these as hybrid, and then meeting approximately quarterly, probably for a couple hours, where we can bring projects kind of like the Line Center, the slide that Heidi shared earlier about our updated building there in the community where we can bring projects like that to the sounding boards and get feedback. There might be opportunities to influence alternatives if we're looking at options with some of our work. We're expecting there to be some community benefit opportunities as well, where maybe we've got funds associated with a big landscaping plan or something like that after we're done with the project, and how the community would like to see that shaped as a permanent, fixture in the community after the project's complete. So we're real excited about these. We're going to be having facilitators leading these meetings, and I'm really looking forward to working with these groups. And it would be wonderful if we could get someone on the CIC who would be interested in serving on this advisory body, and then could maybe bring information back to update the rest of you at your meetings. That would be wonderful if we could get a volunteer. No one has to. We're not looking for hands tonight necessarily, but just planting the seed with you that we would love your involvement. And there's a web page we have. I should have changed the slide because this is Orsi Alex after tonight's meeting. I've been using this slide at some of our in-person meetings lately, but we'll make sure that Josh and Hannah know how to get a hold of us. And so and there is a web page. If you go to portlandgeneral.com/power-together, you'll get more information. And then there's an online application form actually to apply to serve on the committee. And I'm happy to take any questions you might have now about this.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alex and Heidi. Any questions from anybody? Tim, is that just up from last? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, thanks. I'm lucky enough, I've got State Farm for insurance, and they offered a gadget to their customers. I love electronic gadgets, so I signed up right away for it. It's called Ting, T-I-N-G. And if you don't have arc fault breakers in your breaker panel, it just plugs into any receptacle, and it'll alert you and probably State Farm if you've got any bad breakers and potential fire hazards. Now, I know PG&E isn't in the business of subsidizing commercial insurance like that, but I bet you have the clout to induce them to offer a discount of their unit and maybe monthly monitoring cost for all your service area. So I don't know if you've got anybody tied in with Ting, but it's probably worth a call.
We have a group of people who are pretty gadget friendly and always looking for different programs at PGE. And they are the ones that keep me trying to keep me smart and apprised of different innovations that are out there. That sounds pretty neat. I wonder if there's information about how many homes that's really saved. That's really neat device, it sounds like. I'm going to look after this meeting.
They published a number of saves. I don't remember what it is. And it may be,
Yeah.
Yep, but it's worth a call.
I appreciate this information. I'm hearing about this for the first time tonight, but so as I understand, it's a little plug. Is it attached to your breaker?
No, it just plugs in any outlet in the
Any
house.
outlet. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it monitors,
Oh.
because the high frequency arcs travel pretty far around your breakers.
I'll definitely look into it and see. It sounds like it could be a fit for a PGE program. Who knows?
Yep.
Yeah, who knows? That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. We're learning tonight too.
Yeah, thanks.
Linda?
Why is my PG&E bill so high?
So I actually appreciate that.
So that's what everybody wants to know. Alex, did you want to go? Did you start? Oh.
So I just want to add on to that, I appreciate, so I would actually love some talking points. So as I talk to my constituents that are concerned about their consistent rate hikes, what am I supposed to share with them, given that these in some cases are becoming unaffordable, given that your CEO's compensation annually is about $7.5 million. That's a really hard swallow for the folks in our city, and I'm trying to find a way to justify that.
We can certainly follow up with more detailed information, that's more, in a more shareable form than just how we can respond to that question right now. It's a pretty complicated question to answer succinctly. Like, for instance, you mentioned our CEO's pay. That is paid for by shareholders, since we're a publicly traded company.
Partially.
Customer rates don't pay, our CEO's salary. So it's, that's just one little example. But we have, the project, the improvements that we have to make to the grid to keep it up to date, and modernized and efficient, are very expensive. They're just very expensive projects. And so we have to go to the Oregon Public Utilities Commission to get approval through a pretty complicated regulatory process for the OPUC to allow us to raise rates to recapture, it's rarely 100%, but some portion of our cost for the infrastructure upgrade. And part of that's due to the fact that much of our system was built out in the 1970s and is going on 60 years old, and it just isn't functioning as well as it needs to be. And the loads are increasing for a lot of reasons. And, if I asked you right now, how many of you drive a electric vehicle and have a charger in your garage, or, or using more electrified devices in your home, all of that adds to the load, as well as industry and everything else that's requires electricity. So it's a real challenge to keep rates down. We're very bottom line focused, though, as a company, in terms of trying to keep things as affordable as they can be.
Yeah. See, PGE has recently asked employees and set up a program where we also participate in finding ways internally to save money, which I think is a very smart thing for a large company to do. I know I've participated in that, and the company itself has asked its employees, told its employees too, that they plan to save it's millions of dollars of money. This last year they did that, and they're going to be doing that going forward too. So there's a lot of internal changes, even at the staffing level, that's happening at PGE, because PGE really acknowledges that affordability is at the top of the mind for all of its customers, including residential, as well as including our small businesses. So I agree with Alex. We're going to have to get you some talking points, because there's a lot to unpack around that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because actions do speak louder than words, and it's really tough for us when we, again, consistently see these rising rates.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, I believe rates are going to continue to increase as they do for, water and sewer and everything else in our lives. And so that's just it's important to PGE that it's the bare minimum amount of increase now.
Mark?
So how do you address, if I'm not happy with the power and the service, PG is always asking me, customer service. Well, I can't go to PP&L, or there's not another provider. So, on point with paying too high a bill, it's not like I can say, hey, I'd like to go to PP&L as a provider.
Yeah, I think some people change out, the way that they get their electricity at their house. So sometimes that they go to solar or other alternatives. But yeah, outside
Thanks.
of moving, I don't have a lot to offer you for that. If there's something specific, if there's something very specific that you're unhappy with about the customer, like the delivery, once again, I would call that phone number that I listed earlier, because they can help to resolve your customer problems. Especially if you're experiencing like flickering lights, they want to hear about that.
Betty?
Thank you.
Yeah, if you decide to do solar or an alternative energy, it is important to still work with PGE. We have quite a bit, call that customer service number again.
So
My comment is way different. I know that the PGE bills are out of control, but so are not my grocery bills. So, but my comment is I wanted to give kudos to PGE. Several years ago, I had a friend going through domestic violence with her husband. PGE was wonderful for her. They walked her to her car. They stopped him from coming on the property. It was just an awesome experience that PGE did provide for her.
Was she an employee? Or?
She was an employee of PGE.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was a little confused by that one.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. I was wondering if it was our field crews or something, but that makes more sense. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, she worked for you, PGE. But you guys were, PGE staff was very good to her and made her feel safe.
I'm glad, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just going to comment about the street lights. I actually did a report of the street light that's right outside my house had gone out, and I think it was after reporting it was fixed within 2 days. So pretty quick response. Driving down the roads, I actually see a lot of lights that are on during the day instead of off. So I actually snapped a picture the other day of that tag and have not had the opportunity to report it yet because it is not available on the app. You have to go to the website to be able to do it. So, yeah.
Thank you for answering that question.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Alex, maybe that's something that we can have PGE start to work on though.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, it shouldn't be too hard to just make that mobile friendly, and it'd be much easier to do it while you're out at the pole, right?
almost, especially if you could just click, current address, or, find my location or whatever, take a picture of the tag, upload it, something, I don't know. Make it super simple so people can do it quick and easy for you, so.
Yeah. And that could be a cost savings right there. Those are the kinds of things that PG is really interested in doing. I'm glad you talked about the streetlights that are on during the day. Speaking of affordability, a good way to save your city money is to report the streetlights that are on during the day, because the city pays for the streetlights, usually out of their street budget. So please report those as well.
Absolutely. Any other questions? No? Well, thank you very much, Heidi and Alex. Really appreciate you joining in with us from afar and giving us all of that information and hearing the hard questions. And we look forward to you guys getting back to us on a couple of those things.
We've got good notes, so we'll make sure we follow up.
Yeah, thank you.
Get the information. Thank you for your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Number 3, public comments. We have no public. So number 4, approval of the minutes. Everybody get a chance to review them?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it passes. Staff liaison report.
Good evening, everyone. Has anyone received their March trail news in the mail yet? No. Within the next couple days is when you should be receiving it. Did everyone receive their February issue?
Yes.
Yes, and you saw the neighborhood association featured on the back in bold, in color. I'm excited about it. I hope all of you are. Within the staff report, I've made sure to update the calendar to extend into the July deadline. So we're gonna focus on that deadline until we get closer, until the end of this fiscal year, headed into the next fiscal year. I've gotten inquiries about is it always gonna be the third Wednesday of the month? And it's just really dependent on how that specific month looks within the dates look within the week. It's gonna either be close to the third Wednesday or close to the 20th of the month. But really, really I'm urging all of the neighborhood associations to be really dependent on the deadlines that are published within the CIC agenda packet. I will also be reaching out to each individual neighborhood to make sure that the individuals who are responsible for getting me that information by the deadlines are aware of those deadlines. But just so that everybody knows, looking into the month of April, I know that Hillendale, Kanema, Two Rivers, and South End will have meetings in April, and the deadline in March for the April trail news is going to be March 18th. So keep that in your mind as you exit this meeting and head out to your neighborhood associations. This month in E-Trail News, Gaffney Lane Neighborhood Association, your chair reached out about your upcoming cleanup event for your Adopt a Street. That has occurred. I think you had your first cleanup last year, correct?
Yes.
So that's a great, nice. That's a great example of if you have certain community events that are upcoming, those are events that I'm always happy to make sure that are published on your neighborhood association webpage and the E-Trail News. It's just a matter of time of when you get that information into me. Again, make sure that you reference the, especially if you have information outside of your neighborhood association meetings, relying on the deadlines that are within the agenda packets to be able to get information to me in a timely manner. It looks like you have a question? No?
Well, I just want to clarify, am I hearing it that it'll just be in the E-Trail News, and if we were to have an event on a month that's not our meeting time, it will be, could we submit that to be a part of the trail news?
We will talk about that in general business. That's a whole other different discussion topic. But we can dive in because there's communication from my manager that I want to touch on in a whole separate discussion. If our mayor contest deadline is March 15th, there's information in the back of the room if you want to be able to distribute little flyers out to your neighborhoods. Oregon City Parks Foundation also wanted to make sure to emphasize in the Buena Vista Clubhouse, they're doing a fundraiser for the clubhouse itself for Pi Day on March 14th. And then they're also having a promenade cleanup on April 4th. There's information in the staff report and flyers in the back of the room for that. A lot of the remaining staff report is a lot of the information that was also consolidated and sent out to each one of the neighborhood association chairs and leadership. It was a staff report that's kind of formatted the exact same way that my monthly CIC staff reports are, but it's really comprehensive since we've done the switch from the postcards over to the monthly Trail News newspaper, outlining all of the resources that the city provides, and again, highlights the ways in which that city funds can be utilized and cannot be utilized. If you have any questions about that, make sure to reach out. I was surprised that I didn't have any questions leaving our last meeting, so I'm going to take that as a thumbs up that one-pager resource has been a guiding document. Moving on, are there any other questions about the staff report in general, outside of the budget? No. I'm going to move us down to the budget. The main update, Elyville Neighborhood Association, Joy and Dee Dee are not joining us tonight, but Elyville Neighborhood Association has ordered stake signs. That's not within this budget report because the order was placed past when this was able to be compiled and sent out to everybody. But the refund that was issued from Eagle Mailing Service back to the CIC budgeted funds has been displayed here. You can see the $400. I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that that was placed in the overhead column rather than being equally distributed out to each one of the neighborhood associations.
Perfect.
On top of that, I wanted to make sure to include just kind of a summary of the savings that the neighborhood associations and the CIC in general were able to accomplish while those bulk postcard mailings were really being enforced and executed really well throughout all of the different neighborhood associations. So in total, through doing those bulk mailings, the CIC, the neighborhood associations were able to save the city over $4,000. So I think that's something that everyone should give a little pat on the back for themselves for. It's not going to be obviously relevant as we move forward and use the trail news, but I think that that's something that should be highlighted and recognized. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Awesome.
Easy peasy. It'll be nice not to have to talk about the budget every
Yeah, I'm
every meeting
excited.
for half an hour. So. All right. Well, now you're on to the neighborhood articles in Trail News General Business.
Yes, so this is something that Amy brought up at the last meeting that was kind of tabled to be able to have a larger discussion at this neighborhood association meeting. Jared apologizes for not being able to be present here in person, but he was on vacation and still is. He'll be back in the office tomorrow, but apologizes for not being able to join us. He submitted this staff report specifically for this topic since he's the communications manager and he's the one who is our editor for the Trail News. He's really the one who puts everything together each month. I'm hoping that over time, it's less time consuming for him. But us as staff and him as an individual has really worked hard to be able to create a timely and news-packed with relevant information resource for our citizens. So with Amy's questions in regard, and Chris, the question that you just brought up to the table too, of whether neighborhood associations, if you have business, if you have an upcoming event that you want to be able to be published within the Trail News, especially outside of your designated space for your neighborhood association, again, these designated spaces are based off of the calendar in which you have general meetings, because that's the information that was distributed out in postcards. The only caveat to that would be the ice cream socials that the neighborhood associations wanted to be able to advertise, but that was happening usually in the summer months when neighborhood associations aren't meeting. Jared's response and the city's response to that is if there is relevant and timely information that neighborhood associations want to share. Sorry for this screen not working. Okay. The promise that staff can make is that aside from your upcoming meeting, you can send information to staff, but whether that information gets published within the physical Trail News that is sent out to all of our residents, that's dependent on the space that's available, because this publication is really meant to be able to highlight our city departments, and it really is a puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. So if there's room within the Trail News that'll be advertised, whether that's through a flyer graphic, whether that's through a short article, that's something that Jared has emphasized that it can be if there is room. If there is not room, then it will be advertised in the e-Trail News. Are there any questions?
Me.
Yeah.
So just revisiting what I was requesting, and we are a little bit behind the eight ball without having the monthly reminder. And it's not so much the reminder of the dates and times. It's the fact that we would have, like our last meeting, had really big attendance because of the topics that we had. And so those topics aren't going to be allowed to be in there. So we're looking for other ways to get people to think about coming. And I'm not trying to make the communications department defensive. It's just that I would like to think that as we are part of the city, that some of the information that we have would be relevant and would be timely, even if it's not something that is connected to a date. So again, what I kind of think we all ought to do, guys, I think we ought to look at a success we've had once a quarter, not overwhelm anybody. I mean, just place these stories, a very short story that you could find space for if you wanted to call it relevant. And then you just let people know so that when they read that, because they're not going to go to the back of that page, they're not going to go, oh, we're trying to attract, we're trying to lure. And we did this really cool thing because this person in our neighborhood stepped up and accomplished that. So it almost feels like we're being warned, like, better be timely, better be relevant. And it's like, well, but we need some help here.
I think the emphasis isn't necessarily about timing and relevance, it's about space. Because not only, we have cut this down from, I don't know if you remember in the magazine Quarterly Trail News, there was a variety of different nonprofit organizations who had specific relationships, like South Fork Water Board, with the city that had space within the Trail News every single quarter. Now that's been dwindled down because of the space that all of our other departments need to be able to get information out to our residents about. It's been one nonprofit organization has one article per issue. So again, I want to emphasize that it's not necessarily about timely and relevant information. It's about whether, based off of the other information that needs to be distributed out to our residents, whether there is space.
Well, I'll say it and then I'll be quiet. But like, this was all the library. An entire page was the library. One would think that a little quarter part here could have been cut out for some other timely and relevant information.
I think that these are all discussions that are happening internally too with staff. And I can tell you that you can reach out to Jared specifically to be able to talk with him about this, but if you look at the Trail News itself too and look at the space that the library was consuming within that Trail News, one page within it's very equivalent. Like Jared has done a lot of work working with staff, working with our community partners, figuring out the best way to be able to save the city time and be able to get the feedback that we receive from our community impact survey of what do the residents want? They want monthly information and they want it in physical format. So how can we be able to do that gives the residents what they're requesting and also save money? Yeah.
So I personally think that we should try it. It doesn't really matter whether it's going to fit or not, but let's give it a try. Let's find a win, write that up. Like Amy, if you've got something, I think it'd be great.
I'll write something up
Just,
and
a
looks
paragraph
like,
deal or whatever, and let's
Let's see.
submit it in and see. And hey, is it a room where we can fit it in? I'm sure if there is a way to get it fit in, Jared will find a way to get it fit in.
Yes.
Good.
He is super good about all of those different types of things, right? Plus, that article also, maybe something that is worthy of being posted in the socials and all those different things as well, right? So, I think it's a great idea. I love the idea. I love wins. I love to see a newsletter or whatever come out and here's all these different wins and things that we've been doing. That's awesome communication to make to people.
so you guys think about it too. We'll queue up first, but if you guys have had some really good ones you'd like, I think we should try it on a somewhat regular basis.
And like Jared is he's having these conversations with all of our department staff too. Like the point of this is to be able to get information out to our residents. So if McLaughlin Neighborhood Association, if there's information that the CIC in general has to be able to distribute to our residents, that's something that I think can be incorporated. I think Jared just is hesitant to make that promise of every quarter because he's battling a lot of different information from all the separate departments. And that's something that I always encourage all of the neighborhood associations individually, something that I wanted to touch base on too, because I know that there is a lot of concerns from the neighborhood associations about what is our engagement going to look like. I want to point out that the neighborhood associations are the only individuals who have a colored background in this format. They also have the largest text font outside of headlines. Through the QR codes, so we have the ability to be able to track engagement on what's the engagement like of these QR codes. Each one of the QR codes that's associated with each neighborhood association directs you to the neighborhood association's webpage on the city's website. So from this first month, over the course of last year, McLaughlin Neighborhood Association received, their QR code was scanned 18 times, all within the past year.
Not just me and Tim.
Nice.
In 1 month, so in this issue from 1 month, it was scanned an additional 16 more times from the 4 associations that were featured in the in the trail news, not in the e-trail news, in the trail news. The 4 associations that were associated saw a 12% to a 60% increase in their website usage, specifically based off of this QR code. So I think that's really exciting. The other thing that I really want to emphasize, you talk about having, I think that the websites, I think some of the neighborhood, and I know I want to emphasize too, all of the neighborhood associations are based off of volunteer time. So I understand that everyone has jobs, everyone has families. I am in my position as a paid employee, and I'm here to be a resource, but I also understand that everyone has varying abilities to be able to utilize the resources that we provide. I want to emphasize as much as I can how much I think that there can be a lot of information and resources funneled in through the website. And I would love to be able to see the neighborhood associations utilize them if they have the capacity to do so. So not only can your agendas, meeting minutes be published, Donna had a YouTube video published about they had a new meeting space that they were meeting in. Their neighborhood association, I can't remember which room you switched to. You were at the bus barn before?
We were at the bus barn.
And so they switched the community development room. Donna created a YouTube video and be able to make their residents more familiar with their meeting space. There's a lot of engagement that I think that neighborhood associations can be able to have that expand well beyond a 5x4 postcard.
Yeah. Linda?
Going back a little bit, I agree with Amy that we should have information here. I think it'd be a lot more readable and a lot more interesting if there were articles that people had interest in, to care about. Also, if you had things happening in the downtown news, that would be great as well, to have the downtown news published so that people can see what's actually happening, what they can do to engage. But if people see information about the neighborhoods and what they want to do, they go, ooh, I want to be a part of that. I live here, yeah. Or how can I get one started?
Absolutely. Donna?
Okay, well, this might date me, well, it will date me, and I don't know the restrictions on budget and number of pages and such, but in terms of readability and engagement, when I was a kid, I used to always look forward to getting the newspaper and holding it in my hands and reading the man on the street. Because somebody would go out, it was always the same person, and they would interview people on something in the community, and it just brought, to me, that's the definition of community. So I was just wondering can we have another page, like just a little insert? You know, like the grocery flyer, it's just that little smaller insert in the middle. And we have some recurring features like man, woman on the street.
I think that if that's an option that your individual neighborhood, that's a tough question for me because I know that the trail news has been budgeted out. So that would be a larger conversation at hand that I would have to touch base with upper management staff. But my guess would be is that I think the emphasis right now is to have the neighborhood associations utilize the resources that they have. And really engage, because it's only been 1 month that there's been a switchover. So I think that there's a lot of time still for us to be able to explore to see what are the different engagement levels. And I would really encourage the neighborhood associations to utilize the resources they have. But if that is a larger conversation that the CIC wants to have, that can be something that can be brought up. But I think that we definitely need some more time, especially if city funds are gonna be used towards that. Yeah.
Well, again, like you said, we're only in the one, almost second edition of it coming out, so we still gotta play and see how it goes. And you know, like I said, I'm pretty sure that that you know, if we had a little blurb or something of a great win and all that, that Jerry can find some room to get it in somewhere. Maybe it doesn't get into the next issue. Maybe it gets into the one after that. It can. I'm sure it can get in somewhere. So I'm confident. So thank you. Appreciate it. Anything more on the neighborhood articles? Okay.
The only thing that I'll just emphasize one more time, because a lot of if you, as McLaughlin Neighborhood Association, as anyone who's wanting to submit articles, make sure you're paying attention to those deadlines.
Make sure what?
You're paying attention to the deadlines, yes, which are always advertised in, because I won't know who specifically is gonna be wanting to be able to produce those articles. I reach out to each individual neighborhood association related to their general meeting schedule, but you will have to reference the calendar that's published in the CIC agenda packet. Does that make sense?
Is the due date for the next month in that issue?
Yes, it is.
March 18th, right?
March 18th for the April trail news.
Thank you.
All of the dates leading up to the deadline for the June trail news are within the agenda packet.
Okay. Neighborhood Association resolutions. So we had tabled this one from kind of from the last meeting to find out some more information, and Hannah did that. And it looks like the consensus from the city is that the community development room would be the only place that we can display all of those in one place, that there's not room anywhere else. So I think that we were talking about here, trying to do it here at the city hall, possibly. And so, yeah, did you have anything else to?
The only thing that I will add, the city has designated the community development room as the most adequate space to be able to display all 12 of the neighborhood association resolutions. If that's something that the neighborhood associations want to do, it's going to have to be a group effort. So I know that not all of first of all, Rivercrest is an inactive situation, Tower Vista as well. Two Rivers is active but does not have representation on the CIC. I think the question would be, do all of the neighborhood associations know where those resolutions are, A, and B, are they wanting to participate in having their resolution? Because I know Donna, you talked about you meet at the community development community room, but for the neighborhood associations who don't, would they prefer to keep those and display them in advance of every meeting? If any neighborhood association is opposed to having their resolution hung within the community development community room.
So I guess the question is for those of us that may want to do that, is there an issue with having them, getting them from storage or whatever and hanging them, and then maybe, let's just say McLaughlin maybe decides, oh, they don't want it there because that's not where they meet. They want it hung in the library or wherever, Is that a thing, or do they all need to be together?
I think it's if all the neighborhood associations agree or in consensus, then let's hang them up in the community development community room. Otherwise, each neighborhood association uses their resolution at their own discretion at whatever capacity. It's kind of like a all or nothing.
That's what I was asking. Betty?
I don't think it's a neighborhood choice. I think it should just go up, one for each neighborhood. Although Gaffney Lane does not have a resolution, we went and looked for it in the CIC room.
Yeah.
And Tim's gonna look around and see if he can find something at his house, but there's not one for Gaffney Lane. And there's like 2 for McLaughlin, and I think there's 2 for Park Place.
You got
I
one of
think.
ours.
There's, yeah,
We just crossed it out, every Gaffney on it.
most everybody's got one down there, other than Gaffney Lane.
Yeah.
And there's a few that are from neighborhoods that no longer.
Exist.
Well,
Yeah.
neighborhood associations, the neighborhoods are still there, but the associations don't exist.
Like Thayer.
Yeah, Thayer is one.
Yeah. So I think it should just be, it's a city thing, and if we can just hang them up, hang them up. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Well, I guess that's what the discussion is. John?
Yeah, I think it's because we represent our neighborhoods, make a decision yes or no. I don't think you get down to it to people in the meetings, you know, we decide if we want to do it or we don't want to do it. We represent our meetings, most are, have the chairs in our meetings, and so we make the decision and one way or the other, and it's done. Don't keep bringing it up, not a hassle.
Well, it's gotta be better than, you know, being in with a bunch of spiders and dust and.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Where nobody can see it,
Right.
except him.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the intent, like I said last meeting, the intent was to
That's what they're
post those,
talking about.
to put those up so that here at City Hall, and I understand that they don't want to do that, that's okay, to show the relationship between the city and the neighborhood associations.
Yes.
And it was to build that relationship, build the trust. That was our whole intent when we created this program, back then in the 90s. So, yeah, we should have them up. I mean, they were basically, you know, everybody got one, got their handshake with the mayor and all that happened. And so, you know, that'd be a great place to put it up. If we can't do it here, let's do it there.
Yeah.
So now we just need to know who will be doing this, right?
Well, we should probably have a motion if that's the consensus of the group.
I would move to get all of the neighborhood, what are we calling? Resolutions from the CIC room and get those up to someone at the city or to install those. And I would be happy to do that. Anyway, to your point, that would be my resolution or my motion.
I second that.
Great.
Discussion?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have discussion here.
Discussion.
No, I was just gonna second it.
Oh, okay. Well, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from anybody? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There we go. Tim, thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
I'll work with you, Hannah, to get those over to you.
Yeah, and I will touch base with our city recorder to see, Jacob has all sorts of goodies in all
Yeah.
different places.
Yeah, I'm sure the city saved it somewhere.
Yeah, and if not, then there's a copy of the resolution.
Yeah.
And we can figure out to get it in a matching format.
Well, and Tim said he might have it at his house, so
Okay.
he's gonna look too.
Awesome. Yeah, just keep me updated and then I will coordinate with facilities to make sure that we can get that done.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next topic, we've got Spring Forward Community Resource Fair. So we had the sign up here the last meeting. We still got some spots on there for anybody else that wants to sign up. And we also need to talk about, is there anything that we need to create, publish, or, you know, buy candy, or, you know, is there any of those kind of resources that we think we need to have at the booth? Linda?
I think we need candy or something to pass out. Everyone passes out. If you've got candy, the kids will stop and get the candy, the parents will talk. And we need more people to sign up or there's no need of doing this. There's 4 people signed up. It takes more than 4 people to do this.
The board is going around.
Okay?
One of the issues is it's the same Saturday as the
Be 2 weeks prepared.
Be 2 weeks ready. So I think people would sign up, but they'd already signed up for that one.
For another one, okay.
But I'll be there.
And I'm going to be there. And
you
Sarah's
go.
there.
I think there's a larger conversation and coordination with McLaughlin Neighborhood Association too that I just need direction on. Is the space being shared between McLaughlin Neighborhood Association and the CIC for one 6-foot table? Or are you in need of having a table each?
Right, and I brought it up because I got the email that said we need to share, McLaughlin needs to share with the CIC. And it's not that I don't mind sharing at all, but I also know that we have a giant neighborhood map, and you're probably gonna lay it on the table. And that's gonna take up more than 3 feet. And I'm currently working with the city and Public Works on the I&I program, and we have kind of committed to work that with them, so we're gonna have a bunch of handouts. Basically, I could use half the table for handouts, but I need like a card table or something behind me because we also have a 3-fold product that's gonna have maps on it and things like that. And then the manufacturer, or the contractor is going to bring a tri-fold stand to put a map on. So that part doesn't matter because it's not affecting necessarily the CIC. I just wonder if we could get by with another table. You know, I mean, it just seems like we're gonna try and cram way too much stuff on a 6-foot table.
It seemed, with everything you've got going on, it sounds that way to me, so. Yeah, so can everybody have their own table then?
Yes,
Perfect.
since that email initially went out, there have been some organizations who are no longer able to participate, so it's already in the plans.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, that's great. I
Well,
appreciate
those
it.
organizations shouldn't matter as much as we do.
Clearly.
I mean, I don't know how that was even a question.
Yeah, but nobody wants to look down, that's the problem.
Okay, so, so Linda had brought up about candy. Do we want to spend a few bucks and get some bags of candy to hand out?
Yes.
Sound good with everybody? Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. You mind coordinating that?
I don't know I just buy candy at the store. I don't do Costco even. So if
Primarily,
someone does Costco, they
Safeway.
get big bags, or I'll order a big bag. I'll have my husband, okay, I'll figure it out. And I'll be reimbursed.
Yes, you will.
Okay,
So,
got it.
sorry. I have a question about the tables themselves. Last year, we had to bring our own table. Are we going to gonna provide tables this year?
For CIC and McLaughlin the city will provide tables for the vendors that need the space. But to be able to save staff time and resources, we ask that organizations bring, but I'm assuming that the Citizen Involvement Committee, and I've assumed that based off of our conversation, McLaughlin Neighborhood will have a table provided by the city for them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great question.
Cheers to.
Cheers as well.
Okay, all right, just.
Okay, anything more on the spring forward? Nope, good, perfect. What's that? Change my clock.
Not till Sunday, that's on Saturday.
Okay, so the next topic is.
How many copies of your flyers would you like printed? 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be adequate. And then if we don't use them, we can use them in the August.
Yeah, National Night Out.
Here's a question for you. These seem to be ever-changing. This Citizen Involvement Committee, would you like to have, instead of paper copies, I can print copies here in the office. I can have other professional copies printed through Buell's. Is there a preference that the CIC has?
No,
No.
what's cheapest, yeah.
Printing in-house, yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably fine for right now. Till we get more complex with something. Okay. We good now?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So the next is goal setting. So in the packet that you guys all got, we've got a whole bunch of information. So it starts off with the commission's goals and everything that they have set at their level. And then it goes into the CIC goals, which were last set for the 2017-2019 sessions. So it is part of the charter that we are supposed to have our goals in place and all that. And it's certainly possible that these goals that are here might meet, the requirements that we have, So I wanted to get this in front of everybody because I noticed it had not been updated at all, and see how you guys wanted to proceed forward at taking a look at this and working on it. Did you want to perhaps have a subcommittee of a few people to take a look at the commission goals versus the CIC goals? Or do we want to set up a work session and have everybody involved in having that discussion?
I think a work session would be nice, but then everyone involved too. If we could just maybe take a meeting and do this. But some of these look marvelous just reading through. I don't know why we need to reinvent the wheel. Maybe we can just restructure it a little bit.
I concur. I think it would make sense to, if everybody wants to be involved, to have it at a work session. But if everybody doesn't want to be involved, let's do a subcommittee. I mean, it makes more sense. But
Yep, exactly.
if everybody's interested and wants to participate, I think it makes sense to do it at a work session.
Okay?
I'll have to admit, I read through it and I was like, wow, done.
Yeah, that's,
I mean,
me too. Me too. They're fabulous, yeah,
Well, we were in here when those were being done.
yeah.
We were on the committee, so yeah.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just so I know. Okay, cool. Well, we will set up a work session then to take a look at everything, compare it with the commission's goals, make sure that everything we've got is all in line, and kind of get a new updated deal out.
For scheduling purposes, my question would be, in the past, we've scheduled work sessions an hour in advance of our regular meetings. Is that something that works for the majority of everyone's schedule?
Works for me.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Is doing it next month too quick for everybody?
Not for me.
No, I don't think so.
Wait a month.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be.
April
The 6th.
6th?
Before our normal meeting, people will be here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we'll schedule it for 6 o'clock on April 6th. Perfect. And we are at roundtable. We'll just go around the room and start. Where's Chris?
We're coming up to our meeting on the 12th. We have a steering committee meeting this Thursday. We walk the neighborhood on Saturday, and we are, in the past year, we have accomplished 76% of our neighborhood going door to door, and just talking with people. A lot of them aren't home because we choose to do it on a Saturday. But the idea is that it's been really effective for talking with people about our neighborhood. And then we have that on the 12th. So that's really big stuff coming up. And No, nothing else at this point in time, unless you think of something. No?
Okay, thank you. Kanima?
We had our meeting February 19th. This is the first meeting without the postcards. We had 16 members, which is about what we normally have. I just wanted to say, did we fall off or where are we at? So we counted. We had a guest speaker, Mark Sugar was there. He's running for Oregon State Representative. And then we had from the city, they were talking about the water control. We're kind of on a bluff. We have lots of water coming through and how we can resolve and help get this done. Then we talked a lot about our Let's Talk Kanima, which is our own little Facebook page. And we are going to have a cleanup at our park May 23rd. Not the park, the cemetery, because we have the city's Kanima Cemetery there. And that's not in the city, so we have volunteers to go in and clean up the park because it's fenced off, but we've had winter. It's just a big yard with trees that needs to be done. So we have a pretty good work party that goes and works on that. So that's what we had. And we also found our resolutions. We figured out what that was at too, so. And there was quite a rousing conversation about the money. Kanima, I think we're gonna be really hard pressed to even spend close to $1,000 by the end of the fiscal year. So we just couldn't possibly see how we could spend money doing that.
It's a good problem to have.
Well, it is a good problem to have, but yeah, we had quite the problem.
Yeah, just because we have it doesn't mean we have to spend
Well,
it, so.
yeah, but we couldn't think of things we needed. So if there's people who need money between now and then, we have an excess, I think, probably.
Excellent. Thank you. Park Place, Ryan.
Last Monday, we had our general membership meeting. We had about a dozen people there, so it was kind of lightly attended because at the same time, there's a planning commission meeting for a big 219 lot addition up kind of across from Park Place or Holcomb School, where the developer wants to put a sewer line in over a wooden bridge, and obviously that has a lot of neighbors upset, as well as access in and out of our kind of constricted neighborhood, and trying to get the city or county to improve some streets and roads and access and all that type of stuff. So at the meeting itself, we had to park. Tom was there with Parks to talk about putting a canopy, building a canopy on our one park that we have, and kind of what to do with some funds for that. So, yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. South End, Bill, Kathy?
Well, we're looking forward to our next meeting in April, nothing in March. About the only activity we had was, and we're not sure who can take credit for it, if anybody, but that dumb name for Chapin Meadows is now Chapin Meadows. They took out the extra P. I don't know how many people, we talked about it at our last meeting, and it changed. We don't know how, but.
Okay. Caulfield, Donna, Joan?
We are excited about our meeting coming up on the 18th. We're having a candidate forum. I thought we were having 5 candidates. Tim told me today that one of them dropped out, which explains why I'm not getting all my emails back. Which brings me to, because we think this is going to be so heavily attended, it was important that we were able to have a Zoom, so sorry, we should have brought water, have it online as well. Dave Hunt from Gaffney Lane is being kind enough to let us borrow his owl so that we can do this. Owls are very expensive. They're about $1,500 to $1,800 each. Is the money in the city in our pool, is it available for us to purchase equipment to do Zoom calls since the city doesn't provide that?
I think this has been a conversation that the CIC had a while ago. And the conversation was, okay, the CIC will purchase one owl or video device, and then it's shared amongst the neighborhood associations. The issue is can those funds be used to purchase that? Sure, but then it's staff who has to be responsible for distributing it out to the different neighborhood associations. And especially if city funds are being used for equipment like that, and then it doesn't have one space that it's remaining in to be used, it puts it at risk. I mean, the city moved away from using owls because they kept dropping and getting damaged. There used to be an owl in this room. Now we use an NX cube for half the price of what an owl was. So again, that's a conversation that I can make sure to bring up it's just, where does that device live and how does it cared for properly because it is bought with city funds?
Okay.
I'm curious, I mean, if we're allowed to buy A-frames and all the other things that then we have to take care of and store and bring out, why would that not translate to a device that would allow greater participation online?
Because it's a device that when transported in different areas can break very easily and.
But it wouldn't transport, like, they would just get to have it in his bedroom and then he'd bring it out at their meetings.
I think the point is that the neighborhood association, for the neighborhood associations who meet in the community development community room, it's there. But then there's neighborhood associations who meet in the Park Place Church, and there's neighborhood associations who meet in the library. So if the conversations in the past have been that there's one device that's purchased for all of the neighborhood associations' use.
Why not 3?
That's where I'm getting, yeah, why?
That's a conversation that can be brought up at this point in time. I think that if you refer back to the guidelines of what it can be used for and not used for, and it's a cost that's within your allocated neighborhood association budget line, I think that that's something that could be feasible, but let's have a conversation about it. Because I just want to make sure that I'm touching base with upper management staff. That way reimbursements are guaranteed. That's what I'm wanting to make sure. I'm wanting to make sure, and also that's a purchase that could probably be done under the city account that's then given directly to the neighborhood association. But let me have continued conversations about that and come to our next meeting.
That would be wonderful, because as you know, we had somebody from the community reach out to us to find out if we did have a Zoom link, and I said yes for March, but nothing else. And I would really like to fill that gap somehow, some way. So that's Caulfield right now.
Tim, did you have a comment?
It seems to me that there's one of the libraries that we use, and we have to check it out from the library. We have responsibility for it. We have to check it out.
Mike.
Sorry. I'll repeat that. We have to check ours out from the library, and they give it to us, and they check it out to us, and we return it, and we get checked back in. It doesn't seem to me that we couldn't manage having one here at City Hall, and whoever uses it comes and checks it out, takes it, uses it, and brings it back. It doesn't seem logical to me to have 3 of them or have one in each facility. That's just more money than anybody needs to spend. And, if you're planning to use it, it just makes sense to check it out. And then you know where it's at, you know who's responsible for it, and then they have to check it back in.
Maybe we should have them check it out at the library, since the library has that.
Well, except that's the library's budget, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to let us do that.
No, but could we purchase and leave it at the library to be checked out, like you checked out the other?
Well, again, this is their personal, this is their owl, so
Right.
That's something we'd have to talk to the library director about, but I'm guessing he probably wouldn't want to get involved with that. I think it'd be better here at City Hall. It makes more sense to have it here. And we have an IT department here. I mean, they can have it and check it out.
Linda?
On the allowable cost, it says supplies, materials, or services that directly support public neighborhood-wide engagement activities. Materials and supplies to aid an association in the formation, recognition, and ongoing operations. I think we're allowed. Just reading it.
Sure. Well, and again, we kind of had established also when we talked last month that if there was something that might be questionable, so let's just take, for example, you want to buy a computer so you can share it and use it around and all that. That's probably going to be a difficulty considering the, IT security and things like that, right? Probably would not be a permissible buy.
Probably not.
But this piece of technology, whether it's an OWL or whether it's the NX Cube or whatever it is, could possibly be, but we need to get some more information about it first, just to make sure. But I do agree, I think it is a tool that, could be used by everybody, and I don't see a reason it couldn't be checked in and out
I
from
don't either.
here at City
So
Hall.
who made these? Who made these allowable things? Who is that? You did, okay.
Hannah and Jared.
That was run through city management because as a staff member, I knew that there was going to be a lot of questions.
Okay.
And we're all figuring out this new territory together. And my emphasis is I want to make sure that if a neighborhood association says, okay, now we have $1,000 and it's extended, we no longer need to spend these funds specifically on postcards. I wanted to make sure to provide barriers. That way, if you're making those purchases and then requesting reimbursement, that there isn't miscommunication.
Yep. Okay. Sarah Hillendale.
Hi, I hope you can hear me. I'm a little froggy. So we had our steering committee meeting last time, and it was pretty much catching everybody on the committee up to speed with the new situation with no postcards and the trail news situation. And we also had to plan out our April meeting because we had to get it in. We meet the first Tuesday of the month. And so that's problematic with the timing of the trail news. So we have to go like the month before. So we had to figure out what we're doing. And we're having Seth Henderson come and talk about the courthouse plans. So that was pretty much our meeting. And we meet again tomorrow. And I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow because we've already figured out what our meeting is going to be. So that's all I have to say. Do you have anything to add to that, Josh?
Nope, I think you got it covered. Thank you.
Okay.
All righty. Gaffney, Betty and Dwayne.
Okay, Gaffney, we had our steering committee meeting for the general meeting this month. We're going to have Seth Henderson, give us an update on the courthouse and where that's going. We have Scott from Parks and Rec. What's his last?
Archer.
Archer, thank you. Scott Archer is going to come talk to us about parks. And Mike Mitchell's going to be there. And then we also have the Great Greek Mediterranean Restaurant. So we are trying to incorporate a business of some kind that's in our neighborhood so our citizens can be exposed to it and know that it's there, and the business can come and give a little 5-minute speech about their business. So
Excellent.
anything else?
And bring snacks if they want to. We had the olive and shay.
Highly encouraged / required.
Yeah.
Got it.
Last month, we had olive and shay, that place next, Fred Meyer parking lot between the coffee and the entrance in the back there. They came and gave us 10% off certificates for everybody. That was really nice. Tell them about it Saturday, though.
Saturday.
What you did. Yeah, our own Betty Mum organized a get-together.
Oh, we went through Gaffney Lane, went to the CIC room. I was there. There was like 3 other people. Dwayne was there, and it was good for them because they're not brand new to Oregon City. They've been here 10, 15 years, but they had no idea that that was available for the neighborhoods. The CIC room is great.
Community Development Community Room. That's,
No,
or
no,
the
the records
Neighborhood
room.
Association basement?
Yeah.
Okay, Got it.
Isn't it CIC?
We like to call that the neighborhood office.
Yeah, yeah. Call it whatever you want, but we had a good time. We went through a lot of stuff, and one of the things that was consistent throughout all of the years is how can we get more participation in our neighborhoods? That was the consistent statement through every year, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Ban all screens in the whole city.
Yeah.
There you go.
But that is how we found out that Gaffney Lane's resolution wasn't there.
Gotcha.
And we got to separate out a ton of stuff from McLaughlin that was in our drawer.
I gave you space.
Oh,
But it was only on loan
we
though.
started you a new box. It's all nice and tidy now.
Thanks.
All right, speaking of McLaughlin,
Well,
Amy and
hold
Tim.
on, we're not
Oh,
quite done. So everybody knows how dismal the snowpack is right now. And we're expected to have a real healthy wildfire season this next summer. When's the best time to talk about a major calamity? Is it like around the water cooler the following Monday morning? Or is it before it happens? Well, we got this event the next 2 weeks. Be 2 weeks ready from 9 to 12. It's right behind the duck pond at the Lutheran Church there. And we're going to be going into those great issues of how to be prepared personally so that you can help your family and then go help other families. 6 hours total. We're going to be doing some getting together for food afterwards. It's a very timely subject, and I hope that folks, I know it's at the same time as the Spring Forward event, but 9 to 12 this Saturday, and then again the following Saturday. We hope folks can come out and learn more about how to be prepared in the event of a major calamity, because it is a timely issue.
Rita signed up from the Kanema neighborhood. Rita moved to Kanema after she lived in, I believe it was in Paradise, that burnt down in California. Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
Yes.
Yep. So she's ready. She knows.
Nice.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, now McLaughlin.
Okay. Well, let's see, steering committee meeting we had last month. We got all of our 2026 projects on the calendar, which is always a battle, which is great for planning. We also went through our bylaws, our new bylaws that we have recreated, and our financial sheet. And we got that on the website so people could review both the old and the new and the financial worksheet, so we can not take a lot of time at the meeting. So they'll be able to review that. And at our meeting, general meeting is Thursday, we'll be having, as Betty said, we're having the state rep, District 40 candidate forum. So that should be the bulk of our meeting, but then we're going to go into the usual stuff and also talk about our bylaws and get that approved and get it moving forward. Anything else? No, I think that's pretty much it.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Wilson.
So I apologize, I am coming back off vacation, so I'm catching up on some things that occurred while I was out. But I think the most salient thing coming up is, I'm sure most of you have noticed, there's now a chain link fence around the courthouse as that project is underway. And I know lots of you are, sounds like meeting with Seth at upcoming meetings, but at the commission meeting on Wednesday, we are going to be getting some updates on the courthouse project and where it's at. So again, a lot of questions in the community about that. So I think that's probably the most pressing topic that we'll be discussing.
Okay, thank you very much.
I know that Dee Dee requested that I mention her comment for Elyville Neighborhood Association. I'm just going to summarize what she put in the chat. She emphasized Oregon City Parks Foundation's events that are upcoming on April 4th for their promenade cleanup, and also mentioned that Elyville is collaborating with our Parks Department to be able to do some pollinator project.
Okay, excellent. All right, I think that is it. We will.
Just one more thing. This packet, it's wonderful, and we all got the email. Do we need to have this printed as well here? I mean, I'm thinking of a cost, because we all read this before we get here. We've already read the minutes, we know things. I mean, maybe it's something you really need, but this is 50 pages, people.
I printed it out for the individuals who don't have a screen. If the CIC feels that it's not necessary, then I'm happy to not print them out. I just know from the previous meetings, I got a lot of feedback that people appreciated having the physical copies. Being back in this room, I was just printing them at the seats that don't have, but I'm always here for less printing. So if the CIC wants to move forward with not having me print agenda packets, I'm happy to do so.
I appreciate it.
I was gonna say, I think we'll just reduce the agenda packet. I think that's really what the mission goes to, is reducing the agenda packet overall. See, that's what we'll do.
Sounds good.
Okay? All right.
So printing them for the individuals or not printing? Okay.
Continue.
Printing for the
Continue.
seats. Okay, got it.
One more, Chris was.
No, I was just affirming.
Okay.
Here, before anybody else can do it, meeting adjourned.
All right.